Hi everyone, I'm Kelsey and I play Kinlegelana, a changeling witch.
Hello, everybody. I'm Christine, and I will be playing Laerke, the Blood Guard. Bloodwrath Guard? Bloodwrath Guard.
Boom. Okay. That should hopefully fix the mic issue showing up on my side. So hopefully y'all can hear me now. Sorry about that. Last but certainly not least, our wonderful long lost Gabo friend, Leroy.
Uh, Hello. It's Leroy on all social media at royalty no y, and I am playing the long lost goblin Nrobso.
Excellent. Super happy and excited to have you back with us, Nrobso. With that, let's go ahead and dive back into the world of Symbaroum. And welcome back, everybody. Before we dive into our story, just a quick reminder of all things that happened last time. With the return of Laerke coming back to Thistle Hold, you had made your way back to the inn where you met up with Kinlegelana. The two of you then kind of sharing information, Laerke kind of disclosing the information that you and Aggie had gathered about the brothers, about the tablet, and about the location of Anadia's storage, located in kind of the central warehouse within the city. You and Keen then took it upon yourselves to go and investigate this warehouse, finding kind of just a large open air building with what looked to be almost like shipping containers down either side. Each of them labeled just 1, 2, 3, 4, and you had noticed that the key that you had found on Anadia's body was labeled with the number 4 as well. Going over to that container, unlocking the door, sure enough it fit, door opened up. Within it you found just a super small little chamber. Not a whole ton at first glance, just a small bookcase, a makeshift mattress, and what appeared to be a large crate with a tablecloth thrown over it that was acting as a makeshift desk. After taking some time to dig through this area, you found a couple journals that Anadia had scribbled in. You found a very interesting hand-drawn map, which Laerke you identified as it looked like it could be something an area within Davokar. You're just not entirely certain where this would be at. Underneath the tablecloth within the crate, you also found a living creature, a small meerkat, which essentially looks like a small bobcat just with a ton of fluff coming off of it. When you found this creature, it looked to be fairly dehydrated and malnourished. And as you took it out of the cage, it definitely fought you both a little bit, but you were able to kind of swaddle it up in the tablecloth and carry it like a child out of the room. You had gathered up the notebooks, the map, the cat. Laerke had also picked up a small little knapsack that you had found hanging on the bookshelf as well. Taking these items, you all went back to the stables to try to house the meerkat overnight, or just for a few hours while you figured out your next steps. After taking some time to plan things out and get enough meat to feed this creature for a little while, you went back up into your rooms to retrieve Agithe and Kovaan, as well as leaving a note for one missing goblin buddy. Basically saying you're heading back to the caravan to follow the Mikkel brothers, who are leaving tonight with the tablet. You all made your way over to the caravan, and as you're kind of getting situated in, you saw the 3 Mikkel brothers on the back of horses booking it out of the southern gate, heading towards what you would assume to be Temple Wall, which is where they told you they were going. So where we will begin today, Nrobso, it has been a couple days since you have seen your friends. The last time you were with the group, you had gone back to the Rose Inn, where you found a small leather pouch pinned to your door. Within this pouch, you found a severed goblin finger, as well as a note that said, "Remember your debt." And from there, you set out into the night, into Thistle Hold, in search for your missing goblin employee and that of one Cranko, recognizing his severed finger that was left for you. So Nrobso, as you are kind of running through the town, chasing down any and all leads you can, making your way towards the Toad Square, which you had seen number 1 and number 2 in for a while, Cranko's other goblin buddies, who do not have names. They are simply known as number 1 and number 2. And the 2 of them would have informed you that they had not seen Cranko, at least for the better part of day and a half or so. Go ahead and Nrobso, actually, while you're out and about looking around, give me a vigilance check if you would.
Oh boy. If only Nrobso fully remembers what means. Ha! I got a nat 1.
Perfect. And for those who may be new to Symbaroum, low rolls are better, so a natural 1 is a critical success. Nrobso, as you would have been exiting out of the Toad Square, searching for your companion, you would have noticed a small blood trail leading to some of the stables, situated off behind the salons of Symbaroum, kind of the main tavern of the Toad Square. Would you have followed that blood trail?
Nrobso follows said blood trail.
Okay. You make your way over, following the trail around the side of the salon, the saloon, and you make your way towards the back area where it's just a large open air stable. As you make your way back there, you see this massive pile of hay that is just slightly shifting. And you just hear the sounds of shit.
I pull out my axe, and I very cautiously and stealthily approach this sack of hay.
Okay, give me a...
Am I by myself? There's no one else in this area?
With your vigilance check with the natural 1, you do not notice anybody. There's a few passerbys, but nobody's, like, specifically at the stable keeping an eye out that you can see.
Yeah.
Give me a discreet check as you're quietly approaching.
As I quietly approaching, I'm gonna add that to sneaking as my shadow spawn boon.
Perfect.
Meets and beats 7 for 7.
7 for 7. Excellent. You start stealthing your way around, pulling out your hand axe. As you approach this large shaking bale of hay, are you heading for the front of it? Are you trying to climb up top? Are you going around the back? Which side are you approaching from here?
I am behind it.
Okay.
And Nrobso is going to use his axe to kind of scoop very gently underneath, like flip as much as he can.
Okay. Taking your axe, slowly digging it in and flipping the hay up. As the hay kind of lifts up off of this pile, you see the back of a goblin head. As he is just apparently, you can tell his arms are kind of bound to his side. It almost looks like he's got one hand clutched in the other as he is just shaking back and forth and just muttering.
Did I take out, you say he's tied? Like,
yeah, you can tell he's got some ropes bound around his arms, his upper torso, and his legs.
Then I take out my dagger and I quickly, immediately ungag him. Cranko.
Boss, is that you?
Okay, shh, Cranko.
What?
I very, very discreetly got over here.
Right.
And I very, very perceive the area. No one is here.
Right.
Let us quietly sneak away from this area.
But if there's nobody here, why do we have to be quiet, boss?
Well, Cranko, this is obviously a trap. There's no reason for you to be in this hay by yourself. How'd you get in the hay? Did someone put you here?
Yeah, some Ambrian. You had sent me to take the mail out, and I was delivering the letters, and some Ambrian and a couple of his, I guess, companions came, and well, they took Cranko to a little warehouse, and they were asking all kinds of questions about you specifically.
And you said?
I said I don't know anybody named Nrobso.
Oh, well done, Cranko, well done.
They tied my arms down to the chair, and well, they lopped off. He just holds up, and his right hand is now missing his index finger.
Well, Cranko, and I rip a piece of cloth from my shirt. Here, buddy. Wrap this up. There you go. There you go. You're right. You're okay.
I think the guy said his name was Dorego, something Dorego. He said, consider this payback.
Well, payback would mean he would have to do it to me rather than you. Because you had nothing to do with this.
I don't know. I think he might be on to me. I think he knows I work for you. But I didn't say anything, boss, I swear.
Well, Cranko, given that this situation happened to you specifically, how would you like to deal with the situation?
I mean, do you want me to track him down? I can do that, boss.
Well, Cranko, do you want some revenge? Or do you want to let this be fair and square? You know the rules of engagements. You knew the risks of working with me.
I mean, boss, I got nothing against you at all. I don't want you to think that there's anything here. I mean, you pay Cranko very well. And
well, given you are the best man for the job, how about you allow me to deal with this situation?
I mean, that sounds good, boss. I think, but I think I overheard him. They threw me in the hay and just kind of covered me up in here. And as they were leaving, I think they said they'd mentioned they were heading towards, I think, Temple Wall and then to the capital after that. So I don't think they're in town anymore. But if you want me, number one, and number two, we can start scouting ahead. Keep an eye on him. Maybe we get the drop on him next time. If you want,
yes,
boss.
Cranko, very discreetly. First things first, demote number 1 and number 2 to number 3 and number 4, for they should have been with you during this time.
Right. I mean, you're not wrong. They're always getting hammered.
And secondly,
yes,
very, very discreetly, gather any leads that you might find. In fact, maybe perhaps spread a rumor to this Dorego that Nrobso has gone into the forest of Davokar to retire. Allow this Dorego to assume death has come for Nrobso.
Okay, boss, I think I can handle that.
Very discreetly.
Got it. Quiet.
Now repeat all of the steps, Franco. This is very important.
And you can see Cranko is starting to lose a little bit of color to his skin as you look down, and you can see that the bit of rag that's tied around his severed finger, it is just starting to soak even more to the point where...
Hey, wake up. We got it. Come on. Yep. Okay, stay with me.
Okay, can Cranko get this looked at first?
Well, yes, that's step 0, but I need the other steps to make sure they are in order and done.
Okay, right. Step 0, get fixed.
Yes.
Step 2, demote number 1 and 2 to 3 and 4.
Great.
Step 3, very, very quietly start spreading rumors that boss has gone to Davokar to die.
Yeah. Okay, and the final one.
Final one, go to the forest.
No. We need to get the drop on Dorego.
Dorego, right. Step 5, tell you where Dorego is.
Yes.
And then we can kill Dorego.
Yes.
Right, okay. And
Go get checked out.
What? Okay, right. Thanks, boss. And he kind of goes...
I will look around the area for more clues, but I need you at your best, Cranko.
Right, I will.
And give me the letters back. You're not delivering any more letters.
It's about that. He may have taken Drago's mail.
Cranko.
I
It was very important that this letter goes to the person that we told you to take this letter to, and no one else.
Right. I had one for the Sun Church and one for the Red Witch.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. The Red Witch isn't getting her letter.
Oh no. Leggies is not gonna like this. A decision must be made for Nrobso. I shall return back to my friends. I am so happy that you are safe and sound. In fact, I honestly thought this was going to be a lot difficult to find you, but I found you, and that's what's important.
Right. Well, I'll get numbers 3 and 4, and we'll start tracking.
Great. Make sure you get rest first. Don't rush into it. You should probably recover, and then all the extra stuff.
Right. And you see Cranko, as he walks over to the stable, the front of the stable, just pulls a torch off of the front of it, out of one of the sconces. He just holds up his hand and just takes the torch. And
you know what, Cranko? You should probably have this dagger. Carry this as a means of protection, so that this may never happen again.
Right, sounds good, boss.
In fact, maybe there's a way we can attach it to your wrist, so that in the event of capture, you can shoot it out of your arm, avoid the missing finger, and cauterize and stab your assailant.
Almost like a hidden blade.
We should make this maybe a prerequisite of joining the Goblin Brotherhood.
Cranko will work on getting this contraption built. And you see Cranko as he kind of takes the gag that was in his mouth and bites down on it once more as he touches the torch to his missing index finger. And you just see his eyes light up, and he is just letting out just this muffled just scream of pain. But as he pulls the torch away, The skin around that thing is pretty much burnt and melted. It's not bleeding out anymore.
Krinko, I gotta say that was pretty badass. I recommended that you go get it checked out, and you just decided to just burn it and cauterize it right now. So I give props to you.
It's all right.
You don't get a bonus. No
There's
bonus for bravery, but that was great.
there's some good alcohol in the salon. I'll just kind of use that to disinfect whatever's left.
You know, I'm so glad that disinfection is important to you.
Oh, Kranko doesn't want to die of some stupid disease because he lost a finger. Kranko's got work to do, boss.
You know what? Maybe you will get that bonus. Not for your bravery, but for your commitment.
And Kranko takes the dagger, tucks it away, and you see him start walking off towards the salon.
Is there any other clues in the area?
From what you can see in the immediate area, nothing aside from the blood trail left by Kranko.
It's such a very loyal and worthy person to have under me. I'm glad we met him early. Back to my friends.
All right, you make your way back across town over towards the Rose Inn. As you make your way back up into your room, you can see that everything, all of your companions' gear has been cleared out of this area. The only thing you see is a little scroll sitting on the desk.
Oh, did they finally buy that house without me? We were talking about it, and they said that, no, we don't need a secret hideout, and here we are. Everybody is gone. Well, at least they left me a note.
All right. Laerke, what would your note have said to Nrobso?
Laerke doesn't know how to read or write, so I think Keen probably.
Oh, Keen,
actually
okay.
wrote
No
that.
worries. Keen, what would the note have said to Nrobso?
First of all, it's going to be addressed to the strongest, smartest party member I could possibly ever have, comma. Meet us at the gates of the city. Meet us at the gates of the city. We have business to attend to elsewhere. Love, the gang. TM.
I totally forgot our official group name was the gang, TM. We should really work on that as well, but if this is where I must go, and this is where I must go, do I bring my warhorse? That's been at the stables for days upon days upon days. I shall ride gallantly to my friends on my warhorse.
Okay, you go back down to the stables. You see a young Ambrian kid, probably 14, 15 years old. As you walk back and you see him struggling to lift this massive bale of hay over to the stall where you do in fact see this magnificent horse that's about twice the size of a regular horse. This creature is just nothing but muscle on four legs. Its giant mane just glistening in the wind as you approach, and it is indeed your warhorse, which you have borrowed from the Sun Church.
That'll be enough, boy. It is now time for me, and can't quite remember the name that I gave this warhorse, so you will now be called the Red Herring. We will ride to the gates to meet my friends.
All right. Go ahead, and if you would, give me a cunning check here to see if the Red Herring's going to let you back on him or not.
Oh. You said cunning?
Cunning, yes.
Oh, no. That's 11 for 7.
11 for 7. You jump over the stable and start approaching the Red Herring, and it just bucks wildly up into the air and slams down its front legs and almost kicks open the stall door that's currently shut.
Oh, all right. I know it's been several days, perhaps weeks, but it's me, Nrobso. Come on. Would you like an apple? Are there apples around?
In the immediate area, you just see bales of hay. There are no apples.
All right. Hold on, and I give me the hay, boy. And I get the hay. Come on, it's me, your buddy.
Okay, give me a quick check here, Nrobso.
Oh yes. 12 for 18.
12 for 18. Okay, as you're holding the hay up, you see the horse just open its massive mouth, and luckily you're able to quickly pull your hands away before it completely snaps down on your hands.
Ah, that's my guy. Always quick to the chomp. And I'm trying to get on top of this guy.
Give me one more cunning check here, if you would.
Perhaps this one. 19 for 7.
All right. The horse kind of snaps down your hand, and you quickly go to the side and try to start climbing up the side of it. And it once again just kind of bucks and kicks its back legs up and just starts running out of the stable.
I grab the rope before it takes off.
Give me another quick check.
6 for 18.
Okay, excellent. Now give me a strong check.
Oh boy. Let me get my strong ready. Why has it been so... Oh, there it is. Okay. 14 for 17.
14, excellent. As the horse is getting ready to take off, you grab onto the harness and plant your little goblin feet, and you are somehow able to hold this creature back as it is trying to take off away from you.
Whoa, wait, hey, whoa. Let me just get back here, red herring. And I'm assuming that I was able to stop it fully.
Yeah, as you're kind of pulling on it, it slowly kind of starts to calm a bit.
I'm going to run to you, and you give me a boost towards the top of this horse. Kind of like I'm assuming that the guy's going to be holding his hands out like this, and I'm going to jump to be tossed on top of the horse.
Okay, give me a quick check here if you would.
10 for 18.
All right.
I'm quick as fuck.
Excellent. You go charging over. He cups his hand and flips you up. And you do indeed go straight up, landing on the back of the horse, the reins still in hand. With you on top, the horse kind of like turns its head and looks towards you. And it just kind of shakes its head a bit and it almost looks like it's finally given in.
This is the relationship we've always had, Red Herring. Now let's ride.
All right, you take off towards the south gates near the caravan where your friends are currently located. So over at the caravan, Laerke, Keen, Kovaan, and Aggie. Kovaan and Aggie are both currently in the cart, kind of getting everything situated and put back away where everything needs to be. I would say Kovan's probably out front, hooking Sum up to the front of it, getting the reins and the harness, everything all put together up there. As the two of you are out here, you see the McKell brothers have taken off, currently running by. As you're staying out here, give me some vigilance checks if you would.
Four out of 10.
4 out of 10, okay.
I got an 11. I'm just opening my character sheet because I got 7. 11 out of 7.
All right, so Keen, you're unfortunately a bit too busy and focused on. I'd say you're probably helping Kovaan with Sum to where you don't really notice much going on around you. However, Laerke, with your almost heightened senses and hearing as you're kind of a more battle-worn warrior who's trained to really keep an eye on things. You hear the sound of very, very, very large hooves hitting the ground, coming from within the town. And if you look in that direction, you see this massive war horse galloping towards you with the familiar form of a small little Nrobso standing gallantly on the back of this thing, just charging in your direction.
See, I knew he would show up right on time.
Hey! Hey! Hey!
I
Do
knew
I
he
notice him yet?
At this point, as you see Laerke kind of looking in that direction, you kind of look over too, and you see the same thing at this point of Nrobso very quickly approaching your location.
Excellent. Excellent. He's brought a very fast horse.
Yeah, we're gonna need the extra set of hooves, I imagine. Especially if we mean to catch up to the brothers or stay relatively hot on their trail.
Whoa, 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 red herring, whoa! I put the brakes on the horse.
Hit the horse brakes.
I hit the horse brakes.
All right, you pull back on
Do
the
they sound
reins.
really hoarse?
Oh god. You pull back on the reins, and just in this large gateway, you just see this large shadow just kind of buck up in the air. It looks incredibly majestic as it slams down. Is currently standing still. Nrobso, you look and you see Keen and Laerke standing just within the little Night's Watch encampment area at the front, near the south gate.
So now that we're all here, we need to make a decision right now about what we are going to do.
Oh,
Nrobso, we're on a very tight time limit, and we need to make a decision on which path we decide to follow.
okay, all right, yeah, catching up to speed, which leads to the most chaotic way.
Well, we're not sure.
All right.
We have the brothers have the tablet that you have all been looking for, and they are headed to what was it, Temple Wall?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Temple Wall.
Yeah.
And then we have a lead on the map, right, with the girl. You guys were following some lead on a woman while I was gone, and that leads us straight into Davokar Woods.
Oh.
Yes. So essentially, the brothers have a tablet. If it given to the queen or in the wrong hands, could potentially start the apocalypse.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then the Davokar Woods will lead us to whatever we're searching for from Anadia's death.
Okay. All right. Well, given that I am the mediator here, I would say the tablet seems the most important thing to do right now. If it is an epitaph of destruction, I believe with our speed and our strength, we should be able to stop them. Wait, the brothers? Aren't the brothers good, or the brothers are bad now?
Well, I believe the brothers are good in the sense that everyone always thinks they're on the correct side. But the problem is when that tablet appeared in town, the sinkhole started.
Ah.
And now it's going with the brothers to the queen.
Well, I also have business at the Temple Wall. Right, DM?
Yes. That is what Franco told you.
Yeah. And I would assume my best option is towards the Temple Wall.
What say you, Laerke?
I am also more inclined to agree with what I assume Agithe would want, which is to follow the brothers to Temple Wall. I side with Agithe, but my own opinion is whatever path we decide to follow will inevitably lead us to the Davokar Woods. Whether we go there directly or we take a detour to chase this tablet down is of no means to me. I imagine we will be returning to it soon.
A quick question. Is his horse white? Is the warhorse white?
That'll be up to Nrobso. What color do you want your
Well,
warhorse to be?
my warhorse has always been brown.
Okay. Well, they say death rides on a white horse. Nrobso, what do we think rides on a brown horse?
Nrobso rides on a brown horse.
Excellent.
Oh, am I the death in this situation?
I don't know if that's what I was implying, but if that's how you feel in your heart.
I've been practicing. I am vengeance. I am death. I am Nrobso. How does that sound? Like when I come in hot, if I'm screaming that out, do you think fear? You think that's...
I would love to workshop that on the way.
All right.
Meanwhile, Laerke responds by throwing a hand against their chest and essentially pretending to pretend to be super scared just to be a bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm pretty confident that Agithe would want to just players to players. I'm pretty confident that Coral would want to follow the brothers. So
I think that was where Aggie was also leaning. All right. So setting off after the brothers. Perfect. You have everything loaded up in your cart. You've got your warhorse ready to go with Nrobso driving it. Is there anything else you want to grab in this area, or are you hitting the path to follow behind the brothers?
You guys did the whole shopping stuff while I was gone, right? So we're stocked up and we're ready to go. Okay.
Yes, and I'm assuming I've already secured some kind of cage for Thundercat, like a crate of some kind.
Yeah, I would say that's something that's easy enough to pick up.
Yeah, collar, leash, the whole deal.
We made those, remember?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, we have a Thundercat.
We have a Thundercat.
So many
It's a gesture at the feral creature.
Let me just take a moment, and Laird, it is great to see you again.
Yes, I missed you.
How goes the battles and all the people you've probably scared on your adventures?
It's good. I have a new look. No bird mask, just regular mask like this.
You look great.
Brown or gray coat.
Yes.
Yes, with armor. It's good to look. I can turn into it's like a werewolf situation.
Wow, that's cool.
Yes. Haven't done it yet.
Well, Nrobso has the stealth mode.
Yeah.
Legs and I, we did some stealthing, and I did a whole thing. It was pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
Yes, Nrobso has only increasingly become the coolest party member.
Yeah.
You know, that was gonna happen.
And very strong, mighty.
Yeah. Wait, hey, whoa. Leggies, we've talked about when you give me compliments. Nrobso doesn't like them as much. You are still on the radar for being a changeling person who's not really leggies.
What would you prefer that you're afforded rather than compliments?
That is yet to be decided. I like snacks.
Did you say smacks? And Laerke raises her hand up like this.
Whoa. Snacks.
Alright.
Well then, as you can see, Nrobso has some of the best peanut butter plans.
In the caravan?
Peanut butter plants?
Peanuts come from plants. She's correct.
Oh, I said plans. Because I'm not affording him compliments anymore. I'm only referring to him in terms of snack food.
Oh.
As requested.
On the radar. Let us proceed to the brothers and stop the epitaph of death from getting into the queen's hands.
Okay.
and just pretend we didn't know how peanuts were made.
All right.
Yes, I can snickerdo that.
Oh boy.
Okay.
This is an easy test to see that this is actually the ladies that I know.
So you all head out down the path out of the southern gates, following behind the brothers. And honestly, with the Warhorse and Tsum Tsum, it does not take long to pick up on their trail, as they're probably only about 10-15 minutes ahead of you, between them leaving and Nrobso arriving. As you're kind of running through, following the twisted path through the large fields of Ambria, heading towards the towards the southeast, towards Temple Wall. Up in the distance, you can see the backs of the three brothers on their horses as they are riding as quickly as they can. But you can see that they do start to slow down, as it looks like one of them kind of turns their head behind and sees all of you following in your caravan into the war with the Warhorse.
Well, I don't know. I feel like we would have given them a little distance so as not to be conspicuous. Like, I feel like we have a couple of trackers with us that maybe would have been able to keep. We know where they're going. You know what I mean? We know we're heading to Temple Wall.
How long of a distance then would you want to leave between you two?
I feel like I don't know. Do you guys agree with me? Because I think they wouldn't want to know that they're. I feel like this whole thing has been very secretive for them, and I don't know that we would want to be right behind them.
Because the other part is Aggie did tell them that she had friends who wanted to see the tablet, and they did not argue on that. So that's the only other part. But if you want to leave some distance so nobody else takes notice.
Are you well, what do you? I don't understand what that means. I guess.
So
Does that mean that she wanted to be right with them at the same time before they got it to the queen?
So Aggie had just mentioned that her companions wanted to see the tablet before it made its way to the queen, and that's when they said we are moving towards Temple Wall. So they're not unaware of your presence and wanting to look at this.
Oh, so they're expecting us to follow them to some degree, then?
Potentially, because again, the eldest said that they will be in Temple Wall directly to Aggie, so they know that you're all aware of where they are heading to.
Okay, well then I guess I'll leave it up to the party. Would we want to stay in eyeline of the brothers?
So, Kinlegelana personally is trying to intersect the tablet as quickly as possible, but would have been willing to listen if you guys did not want that. But I'm thinking that she's worried about what's in Temple Wall.
Okay, then I guess that's fine. I was just thinking if they were trying to be all secretive about it, but if we're under the impression, if we as a group are under the impression that they know that we are keeping tabs on them like pretty closely, then I will leave it alone. I will go against my warrior instinct.
No worries. Yeah, I would say that you would all be aware of the friendship and alliance that Aggie has built with these brothers. So
Okay.
While they are cautious around a significant amount of people, you seem to be a bit of an exception thanks to Aggie's persistence with them. So as they slow down and you all make headway catching up to the brothers, you see Venhall, the eldest, kind of get off his horse and kind of slowly start waving you all down to slow your roll a bit. Upon approach, Aggie gets out of the cart and she approaches Venhall if anybody else would like to approach with her.
I will also approach, but not directly beside Aggie, more like a step or so back.
Okay, no worries. And you see Aggie approach and very much it says, "Oh, I'm so glad we caught you already. As I had mentioned, I've got a couple companions who would like to look at the tablet if that's still a possibility." And Van Hall just kind of looks towards his brothers. And he looks back towards Aggie. He snaps his fingers, and you see Leohan reach into a bag. And out of this bag, he produces what looks to be a solid piece of copper, roughly about the size of like a book. And he kind of hops off his horse with it and walks over. And he's just kind of holding it. And Van Hall just kind of looks towards Aggie. So, all right, whoever's taking a peek, make it quick.
Just so I know, is the tablet are they holding it with a cloth or are they holding it with their bare hands?
He has big, thick leather gloves on that he's holding it with.
Okay. And based on what I know, do I think I can investigate this properly without touching it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. As you, upon first inspection, you can see that it's definitely got some runic writing all over it. You're not seeing any visible energy coming off of it. If you want, you can give me a resolute check.
That is a 7 out of 15.
7 out of 15, okay. You definitely do feel a bit of energy coming off of it, though. It's not visible, but as you approach it, you can... There's a slight pull to it, almost.
And I wouldn't recognize what kind of energy it is?
With you being from the Davokar Woods, it's definitely an ancient nature-type energy. Whether it is going to be corruptive or not, you're not entirely certain.
Okay. And like she kind of lets out a sigh, and she looks back at Nrobso and just says, "Don't be like me," and like pulls off her glove, and I'm gonna touch it.
Okay. Give me another resolute check here, if you would.
Boy, ow. That is a 1 out of 15.
Damn, okay. You go over and you grab onto this tablet. And at first it gives off almost like this searing energy to where your palms almost feel like they're wanting to start to blister up on you. But you kind of calm your mind for a moment and really focus in, and the pain starts to subside as you are currently touching this tablet. And
Do I get any more of a read off of it? Do I see anything?
as you're looking at this tablet, you can see that there are a lot of ancient runes scrawled across the front of it, and it appears to only be across one side. As you're kind of holding it, flipping it over, the back side is smooth. Looking at the front, it's a very, very old language, one that you don't entirely recognize. You can look at it and you can see it's not written in Elvish, it's not written in Goblin, it doesn't appear to be written in any of the more intelligent creatures from Davokar. It's not written in any of those languages. Bits and pieces of it are kind of faded away. Go ahead and give me a cunning check, though, if you would.
Okay. Hi. That is a 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10, okay. As you're kind of really focusing in and trying to read some of these writings, there is a little bit of the tablet kind of in the center of it that stands out. As you're kind of standing there reading it, these runes almost kind of start to glow just a touch as you're looking at it. Laerke and Nrobso and those around, you don't see the glow coming off of it. Only Keen is able to kind of see these runes sparking. And it's almost like when you had the visions of your past when you were a child, almost like something unlocking within your mind as these words start to come to you. Where night and day are without meaning, where darkness shimmers and light gathers in shadows, there stands the throne that again shall carry a mistress, a regent, a peer of the divine. And I will send that to you so you don't have to write all that down.
Okay. So I think she's processing that. So it doesn't seem like a dangerous tablet to her?
From what you're seeing, not entirely. Especially as you're kind of looking at the writings on it. You would be pretty damn confident that it would take somebody incredibly knowledgeable, incredibly well educated, somebody who has studied years upon years to be able to fully translate this tablet, if at all.
But the sinkhole, we were told, was like the sinkhole appeared after this tablet arrived in town.
Correct. Whether they're directly connected or not, who knows? But that is what you get off this tablet.
Okay. May I ask, why does the queen want this?
Well, she believes it to hold some kind of prophecy. I mean, only Prius knows what it truly says, but who knows, she might just want it for part of her collection too. I'm not entirely certain. I was simply told to deliver it to the capital.
In the nature of transparency, given your bond with Agabantha, it certainly does hold some kind of prophecy, though I can't imagine why. Well, suffice it to say that when this tablet appeared in Thistle Hold, it correlated with the sinkhole. I don't know if the queen knows what kind of power could be generated from this tablet falling into the hands of someone who can do more with it. I don't know if she trusts everyone around her. I don't have answers for that. But I want to be honest and open with you in respect for the type of relationship that I think our groups are starting to form. There is a prophecy on it. I can't read all of it, but I do know there is one.
Well, then what do you suggest we do with it?
Where was it found?
Just to the east of Karvasti. About a day's travel east.
I see. Does Kinlegelana, knowing what she knows, would she think that it should be buried or something should be done with it otherwise? That there's a way to potentially do something with this kind of energy?
From everything you've experienced throughout your life being a witch walking the Davokar woods, with an artifact like this, you're not entirely certain. You get the sense that the tablet itself is not incredibly harmful. It just has something written on it that the queen probably wants to know about.
And I have reason to believe that those words that I heard coming from it are what the queen is going to try and get out of it.
Correct. What you read off of it, you are certain that is what it says.
Very well. If you believe that the right place for this is the queen, perhaps it won't do harm. But again, in the nature of our friendship together, if you would be willing to not tell the queen what it says and allow her to extradite it through her own means. Again, in the nature of our group's relationships together, in hopes that we can work towards the goal of hopefully beating back the corruption and saving people, I would be willing to tell you what it says.
Give me a persuasive check if you would, Keen.
Okay. Man, my luck is about to run out soon, though. That is a 2 out of 11.
All right.
I'm about to only roll high for like the next several rolls.
And
There's no way.
Van Hall just kind of nods towards you. And even says, keep the translation or what you saw to yourself if you wish. Because of the way you and your companions have cared for me and my brothers and helped fight on our sides. We will hold the tablet in Temple Wall as long as we can. And we will not directly give it to her just yet until you are entirely certain of what you want to do.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Right? Everyone else?
And Aggie very much nods next to you. So, do what you must here. We will be in Temple Wall. Whenever you arrive, we will find you. But I can assure you we will be there for quite some time, as we have other business to attend to in the area.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Now, if there's nothing else, we should continue on.
Well, I would like to ask for one other favor. If you hear anything of a Dorego, will you perhaps keep tabs and inform me of anything that you might hear once we arrive into Temple Wall?
Give me a persuasive check if you would, Nrobso.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah. 3 out of 5.
Excellent. All right. He kind of looks towards you and, well, it won't be a top priority, but we'll keep our ears open.
That's all I ask. For one strong warrior to the next, that's all I ask.
He just kind of smiles and nods in your direction. And they take the tablet once again, replacing it back in the bag. And you see Leohan climb back up on his horse as Van Hall returns to his as well. And the three of them kind of look back towards your group one more time before taking off into the night.
Thank you for your patience. Would you like to know what the prophecy said? And I will recite it for them. I don't have it in front of me, but I will recite it for them.
Okay, no worries.
Can you say it one more time?
Yeah, absolutely. So what Keen was able to translate was, where night and day are without meaning, where darkness shimmers and light gathers in shadows, there stands the throne that again shall carry a mistress, a regent, a peer of the divine.
Well, that certainly sounds like Davokar to me.
Absolutely it does. Yes. It sounds like someone is trying to rise the mistress.
Do any of us have an idea of who this mistress? Are there any like big apocalyptic type like legendary figures that some of us might know from our culture?
Ooh, is it the lady? Is it the snake lady that was in the sinkhole?
You may give me cunning checks here if you wish.
Am I doing one as well?
Yeah, if you want to.
Oh, as a 12 of a 7 of an idea from Nrobso.
All right.
That is a 17 out of 10.
Okay. Ooh, okay. I couldn't hear you, but I saw. I think you said double digits out of 5.
Yeah.
All right. Unfortunately, you're not entirely certain. In your time at Karvasti, you would have learned about a lot of different prominent figures from the kingdom of Symbaroum back when it was alive and thriving. No one specific comes to mind, and as you're trying to think back, you can't really remember a lot of the details of the fall of Symbaroum and what caused that. So unfortunately, not a lot comes to mind. If everybody...
Ladies, do you still have that book?
I still have every book we've collected. And, like, I feel like I walk up to the caravan and, like, went like this and just, like, tossed aside one of, like, the pieces of, like, curtain. And you just see, like, a stack of books, like, all tied up.
No, the journal, more specifically.
Which journal? I have several journals.
Oh, the journal from the guy that we bullied, whose family was down in the jail, and yeah, we set his tree on fire. That guy.
Yes, I do. It's right here.
More fires, huh?
It was a very exciting day.
I'm so sure.
Kargoy Salamos.
Yeah, he was there at the beginning. So perhaps there's some mention of some lady in this journal of his.
Nrobso, you are sugar cookie smart when it comes to these situations. Is the snack thing working? Is this the right way to not compliment you?
I would prefer to eat these snacks you are teasing me with.
So how would you like me to speak to you if I can't speak to you in the nature of snacks or in compliments?
Well, if you have snacks on hand.
I see. I have some bread.
And that is my favorite type to partake in.
Very well. And I'm going to hand him bread.
All right. And as you're all
will eat
out here, give me vigilance checks, please, if you would.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. 7 out of 7.
Okay.
It's not looking good.
17 out of 12 as I munch down on this bread.
Okay. Nrobso very much busy, just shoving a full loaf in his face. Keen, as you're kind of out here digging through the wagon and giving Nrobso his bread, you kind of look up and take in some of your surroundings, and you notice that walking down the pathway, coming from the direction that the brothers had just rode off in, you see a familiar individual dressed in these very beautiful, ornate robes, clean-shaven, has this beautiful, almost looking like bone headpiece draped over them. You can see that they're currently walking with their hands in front of them, and it appears they are flanked by 2 individuals wearing what appear to be leather armor and these deep black capes. The person that you notice walking in front of them is the witch you know as Gadramon, who had originally appeared at Thistle Hold on the Beasts. And he's walking.
Yes, riding the elephant things.
Yes, and you see him walking towards you. And as he gets closer, you can see that his hands are currently bound in front of him.
I'm going to intersect. Hello, well met.
And Gadramon's head just hangs low and just kind of, his eyes kind of meet yours. And the two cloaked individuals approach and just say, "Step aside."
What exactly are you doing? What is your business?
Well, we caught this witch on the outskirts of the hold. The mayor has a no witch policy. They are to be brought
Did you
in.
speak to the mayor about it directly, though?
We have our orders. We know our duty. Now step aside.
Yes, but the mayor knew that this particular witch was visiting when the sinkhole happened.
And you see one of them start reaching for a dagger. I said step aside.
When I summon my storm arrows, can I summon them behind people, or does it have to be around me?
They start out around you, and then you fire them from there.
Okay. Okay, fine. Then I'm going to summon my arrows around me.
Okay.
I think you'll find that you haven't directly spoken to the mayor about this business.
I got my 2 axes out.
Okay. Axes draw out. Laerke?
Laerke is standing behind the two, hasn't drawn weapon yet, but is ready to.
Okay. And Keen, as you're standing there, as these storm arrows appear around you, what does that look like for us?
So the frayed energy of like the black and white, like a lot of white with like the black wisps in them, like sort of it looks like smoke almost, like fog comes through the area, and then they're just kind of aloft
All right.
in the air.
And as you're standing there with these arrows around you, Nrobso axes out. Laerke just kind of taking on a, you gonna step up or what stance behind your two companions there. Let's go ahead.
Nrobso's got it.
What is, Laerke, what is your quick score?
My quick score is 13.
13. Nrobso, what is your quick score?
18.
18. Keen, what is your quick score?
My quick score is 9.
9. Okay, perfect. All right. And when we come back from our break, we will go ahead and see how this shit resolves. So thank you all so much for sticking with us. We'll be back here in about 10 minutes or so. Thank you so much. See you in a few. And welcome back, everybody. So, starting us off, you got these two individuals, Gadramon currently bound in front of them, weapons drawn. Nrobso, you got your hand axes out. You are the first one on deck. Actions are yours. What would you like to do?
Boy, oh boy, have I been waiting long to say this line. Laerke, one, I have new tricks, but always remember my final words. Is this the day that Nrobso dies? And use my movement to charge towards the one on the right side.
Okay.
How many? There's two.
There's two of them, yep.
How far away are we from? We're pretty far from. Can I look around while the combat is happening?
Yeah,
to see
absolutely.
if there's anyone around us?
Yeah, you can give me a free vigilance check here if you want to.
Oh yeah, 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Looking about, you don't see anybody else in the immediate area. Just appears to be these two chuckle fucks.
Cool, game on.
Alrighty.
Go, Nrobso.
Nrobso charging forward, axes out. What are you doing?
I'm using, that's just my movement. So twin attack.
Okay.
Basically just 2 axes for an attack.
Okay, perfect. Give me an accurate roll here. You're going to have a +1 to this roll.
Oh. Come here. Come here. 5 for 15.
Okay, excellent. You go charging over, axe out, taking it, swinging it into the one on the right. Go ahead and give me the damage on that.
Ha! So that first one. I forgot this one. That's a 2.
2, okay. Charging over, axe out, you go and just try to bury it into the side of this guy. You can see that your axe does not quite pierce all the way through the leather armor that he's currently wearing.
Then I take it out and spin around for that second part of the twin attack.
Alright, twirling around
use
for that
my other
second one.
axe.
Okay, give me another accurate roll.
9 for 15.
Okay, roll that damage.
Alright. That is 11.
11 points of damage.
That's right.
Okay. Nrobso, as you come back around with the second swing of this axe, you bury it through, cutting through his leather armor directly into his flesh. Would you like to knock him over, or you can take another attack?
Wow. Let me read all of this really quick. Does knocking him over also equally warrant a free attack?
No, you would just be able to just knock him prone for this one.
Then I'm going for another attack.
Okay, give me that attack roll. Another accurate check.
12 for 15.
Okay, perfect. Roll that damage.
7.
Okay. Whew, okay. It is now their go. He is going to return the favor, pulling out his dagger. You can see he's kind of clutching down on one of his sides, and he just takes his dagger up, swipes it down towards you. So go ahead and roll me your defense if you would.
My favorite time to finally utilize my survival perk. So essentially, my defense is pretty good, but I get a permanent +4 each time.
Damn.
Yeah. That is. Hold on, it's in there. Uh, 2 for 19.
Two
Your
for
attacks
19.
mean nothing.
Damn, alright, excellent. Able to quickly dodge out of the way of that one. The other one is bringing over his knife as well. He is going to get behind you and take an attack towards you as well. So roll your defense. This time you're going to take the higher roll.
Higher roll because I have advantage?
Because they're flanking you. So this is essentially disadvantage for you for your defense, which would mean you would take the higher.
Yep, that's what that means. That is what that means.
It's inverted controls for D&D.
Let me write that down really quick before I forget. Ha! 7 is the higher roll.
Hey, you're still fine on that second attack. Very much just quickly using your little goblin dexterousness to quickly and easily dodge and roll out of the way of these attacks. Next up, we are over to Laerke. It is your go.
Cool. All right. So there's one guy who's still standing, or they're both standing. He didn't knock anyone prone, right?
Correct. They're both standing, and they currently have Nrobso flanked. So one in front of Nrobso, one behind him, both just swinging wildly with daggers towards him.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna run up and I'm gonna twin attack. I'm gonna twin attack the one behind Nrobso.
Okay, he's the one that has not taken any damage yet, so go for it. So go ahead and give me an accurate check, if you would.
No, I am allowed to use my strong instead.
Oh, excellent.
Of accurate.
Give me that strong.
So,
you're going to have a
'cause
+1 to these rolls, though, because of their defense. So
Oh, okay.
whatever you roll, just add 1.
Okay, you got it. That's a 7 + 1, 8. So that definitely hits.
Still hits? Okay, excellent.
So I'm gonna do 2. Do I need to? I'm using twin attack. So am I rolling it twice? I'm hitting the same guy.
If you want to use them both against the same guy, absolutely. Or if you want to like attack him with the first one, do your damage, see if that's enough to take him down, and then save your second attack for the other guy. You can split up your attacks that way too, entirely up to you. Or if you just want to take them both right now against this one, you can do that too.
Yeah, I'm gonna do both of them on the same guy.
Okay.
I'm gonna come at him with the claw and then swing at him with the hammer, or with my axe.
Okay, perfect.
But do I need to roll a second attack?
Yeah, so I'll need another accurate roll from you. Yep.
Okay. Oh, this is another 7 + 1, another 8. Nice.
Excellent. I love that for you. Go ahead and roll damage.
So it's going to be 2 1d6, which is 3, 1d8, which is 2, so that's 5, plus an additional 1d8, which is another 5, so 10 damage for both of those attacks.
Oof, okay. Same situation here as you're getting your attacks on him. Would you like to knock him down or take an extra strike at him?
I'm gonna knock him down.
Okay. Perfect. As you're striking
I'm gonna get him off of Nrobso's butt.
Perfect. Taking the claw, stabbing in, taking the hammer, smashing up into his rib cage, then almost using your foot to just kind of sweep out his ankles as he just falls flat on his back. He's bleeding pretty good, but he's still alive. Keen, we are over to you. You've got your storm arrows out about you. What would you like to do?
And just to clarify, using the storm arrows, since I've already summoned them, as a free action, right? On top of another action I could take?
Correct, yes.
Excellent. So I am going to lob a storm arrow into the one that looks the most injured first.
That would be the one in front of Nrobso.
All right, so I'm going to lodge a storm arrow into that one.
Okay.
So 1d6 damage, right?
Correct.
Yes. Okay, that is a 5.
And what does it look like as your storm arrow hits this guy and takes him out?
Well, first of all, it looks unfair because I did almost none of the work. But like because it's a storm arrow, like it shoots like straight through his like wherever the weak spot in the armor that Nrobso made is, and like a crackle of like this electricity, but it's actually like white and black in phrase, like not normal electricity. It just like surges through him before he goes limp.
Excellent. With that surge of energy, as it kind of dissipates around him, Nrobso, you just see him fall to his knees and then down onto his back, completely lifeless in front of you.
What color is the blood?
From what you can tell, it is just regular red blood.
Oh, okay, great. Is it back to me? Or...
I actually have another action since that was a free action, right?
Oh,
Correct. Yep.
Okay, so disappointing now that one of them's dead, but I'm gonna use Brimstone Cascade, and I have it at the master level. It's on page 132 if you want to look at it, Nate. But I'm going to unleash the Mystic unleashes a veritable storm of flaming and smoking energies. If the Mystic passes a resolute quick test, the cascade deals 1d12 points of damage. If fails, the cascade only deals 1d6 damage. Even if the Mystic should fail a test, the chain does not stop. It continues to strike new opponents until a second test has failed, but that won't matter. There's only one.
Okay, does it say you get to pick your target with this?
I read you the whole thing. It doesn't really...
Okay.
I'm assuming I do. It doesn't really specify.
Okay, I'll allow it then. I'll say you've got enough control, especially since it's at master level for you. I'll allow you to confine it to the one target.
Okay.
Okay, so it's your... So you're going to give me a resolute check. Because he's currently prone on the ground, he can't really do shit to move right now, so there's no penalties to this.
Excellent. All right. And you said resolute, right?
Correct, yep.
All right, so I got a 10 out of 15 for my resolute.
Okay, give me that full damage on it.
All right. 1d12. How exciting. That's a 9.
9, okay. What does it look like as you fry this poor bastard?
Unfair, because I definitely have done the least out of anyone in this entire battle. Oh, wow. Very unfair. So basically, all of a sudden, like, this, like, flaming magma energy that comes down like ravens hits him and, like, I guess just completely incinerates him.
All right, and just like that, you see these large magma ravens just swooping down towards this individual. Laerke, you get a front row view as you feel the heat coming off of these arcane birds as they just nosedive down into this individual. And you can just slowly see his armor burning away into his body as his skin and flesh just start to turn to nothing but ash in front of you.
Wow.
I love how we leave the civilized area and immediately resort to murder. That's entirely on brand for us at this point.
That really, really escalated. And another flame, example. Are we the good guys? Are we sure we're the good guys?
And Gadramon just kind of looks towards you. In my book, you're very good.
Does he speak English? I don't remember. I was going to talk to him in Barbarian.
He speaks both. You would know that he speaks both.
Okay, never mind then.
Well, Gadramon, I guess. Yeah, you're saved. Let me undo your shackles.
All right.
This is rope. Right?
It's just simple rope, yeah. Thank you.
Right.
These damn... I think they're part of some cult. Got me.
Oh. Then we did good. Leggy, that was really impressive. I've never seen such one of the words power. That was a lot of power from you.
Well, thank you. But to be fair, I would never have been able to match up to the tests of strength that I witnessed. I only came in when they were already injured.
Well, regardless, that was I felt like that came from a different spot for you. Usually you're one to capture and talk to these people, and nope, not this time. Noted.
Made you quite angry.
And there was no talking to these people. I think we know exactly what type of people these were. And they are the kind of the burn witches.
Did anybody cut Gadramon free yet? If not, I'm gonna do that.
No,
Yeah,
yeah.
no.
Okay,
yeah,
okay, good.
Yeah, I got it. Not to worry,
Yeah,
Laerke.
perfect.
That's always the first step for a good old Nrobso.
Okay,
Make
good.
sure they're free.
And if you all would give me vigilance checks here.
Oh boy.
Oh, wow. 14 out of 7.
Okay.
Is it?
No, I didn't make it.
No, 18 out of 12.
All right, perfect.
I'm
Okay.
looking for anything that was left over from the bodies.
All right, Nrobso, as you're kind of digging through the bodies, you pick up just a couple shillings off the one that's still there. The other one's completely incinerated to ash at this point, thanks to Keen's magma ravens. I will say, though, Nrobso, the one thing that you do notice is these individuals don't share the same religious symbols as the Black Cloaks do.
Oh.
There's no religious symbols on these guys at all.
That's okay. They were still, messing with our dude, Who cares?
Yes, but Nrobso feels there's a deeper mystery to this now. Usually it's the Black Cloaks or the Templars. But for some reason, it is an unknown association.
Well, did they mention anything to you, Gadramon?
They kept saying something about Ragama. I'm not entirely certain. Whenever they would try to speak to me, I spoke in my native language so that they would think I didn't understand what they were saying. I think they're, from what I could gather, some kind of collection of people who, from what I could pick up, want to tame corruption. But they don't seem like the brightest bunch.
Like they want to control corruption.
From the brief conversations that I could hear, yeah. But again, I don't think that they're the brightest. I don't think they fully understand what it is that they're... Just a silly idea. Anyway, I was heading back towards the hold as I hadn't heard from any of you in quite some time. And,
What? But Nrobso, my letter. I sent it through your post.
Yep. Yes, you did. Goblin box.
Did you get a letter from Goblin Box?
I can't.
They would have said that they were gobbling up
I have.
the mail.
No.
Nrobso, my mail.
Yeah, I'm just as perplexed.
Anyway.
Interesting.
How have your investigations been going? Have you learned anything new?
Well.
Oh boy. There's a ton of things that we've learned, let me tell you.
Go
And
on.
then I proceed to tell all the...
Are you sharing everything? I mean,
I'll
leave it up to the group.
If I had to go down the list, let's see. We haven't seen you in considerably a long time. Weeks, even. Boy, where do I begin?
Ask him if he knows about the tablet.
There was a lady down in the sinkhole.
Right,
I don't remember if you
yep.
were there or not. Yep. Things got very confusing after that. We have a kid now. We bullied a guy. I ate a Salisbury steak, or at least half of his Salisbury steak. Let's see, what else happened?
I'm gonna hand Nrobso a piece of bread.
Oh, great. My favorite dessert.
He's doing great. Yes, great information. Beautiful. Just to fill in some of those gaps, we have only learned things that have uncovered more mysteries for us in regards to the sinkhole, though we do have some information. But First, is there any way we can ask you 2 questions?
I suppose so.
1, we met with someone in town who may be in need of some type of, not cure, but some kind of medicinal blend that can help retain the consciousness of an undead. So if you could possibly get that to us at some time, really would appreciate that.
There's an undead here. And you
Potentially, maybe.
left it alive.
There's some complications. As you can imagine, this is already a town that is not quite kind to witches, so you need to tread carefully and play by certain rules.
Mm-hmm.
So the best thing to do would be to make sure that we can get more information about how to potentially keep an undead as conscious of their former being as possible. And the other thing is that there was a tablet. It was a tablet in some kind of ancient language, even far beyond the humanoids of this realm. And it was, from what we understand, brought from Davokar. And once it was brought to the city, whether by chance or by some kind of connection, the sinkhole occurred.
I see. I had heard of some treasure hunters picking up a tablet not far from Karvasti. I believe it holds the prophecy of Sarkamel.
Sarkamel?
Was it? It was copper? Well, even our best and brightest at Karvasti haven't been able to fully translate it, so I would like to see it return to its home at some point, but I do not believe it to be an immediate danger.
I see. And Sarkamel was the prophet.
An ancient being from Symbaroum. What that individual's role was entirely, I'm not certain.
I see. Very well.
Any other news?
What have you learned?
Sorry, go ahead.
You first.
Honestly, not much. We've heard of. I've learned that there is an elf living within Thistle Hold, a member of the Iron Pact. What he's doing here, I'm not entirely certain, but it seems odd that a being from deep within Davokar would find comfort in living amongst the Ambrians.
What is his name?
Oh, what was it? Thinks for a moment, while the GM looks through the notes to figure out what that person's name is. His name was Mirel.
Miro.
Gadramon, I have a huge question.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned the Iron Pact. Are they good or bad?
Well, it depends on which side of the palisade you stand on. The Iron Pact was drawn up by the Elves of Davokar as an agreement with the Ambrians. And it would seem that many Ambrians, to my knowledge including the Queen, see the Iron Pact as a threat, and those who still follow it. It was meant to keep the peace between the Elves and the Ambrians, but it seems that that pact has weakened over the years. So it depends on if you would rather stand with the elves or the Ambrians, should it ever come to that. But I myself have no ill will towards the elves, nor the Ambrians. It's all a matter of perspective.
Alright, well, we'll say you stumble upon an artifact, perhaps an item that has the words "the Iron Pact" on it. Would you think this item to be of good? If it feels warm, perhaps.
I would have to see the item to study it a bit further. What kind of an item would it be? Are you asking specifically about something, or just?
Oh, well, there are lots of items one could stumble upon. Maybe a goblet, maybe a dagger, maybe a plate, maybe a ring,
Well,
maybe...
I've heard the stories of they had forged 1,000 at least iron rings to seal the pact as a symbol. It's possible that some of those rings are imbued with power. I would imagine that, again, without studying it directly, I cannot say for certain, but I have heard that these rings almost have protective properties about them. Especially if the elves created them living deep within the woods, I imagine that they would want something to protect themselves against the powers of the Davokar.
Oh. Well, I'm not sure if you are aware, but Nrobso is a collector of rings. So if you stumble upon said rings, perhaps Nrobso can purchase it off of you.
I'll keep that in mind. Was there anything else of importance that you had found?
Well, Nrobso thinks this is very important to discuss, but I will go back to my horse. Red Herring, how are you faring? And I go back to the horse to, like, make sure the horse is okay.
The horse is fine. It's just standing there. It looked like it ran off a little ways once the fighting started, but it's still just kind of it's just kind of munching on some grass out in the field right now. But it's still within sight.
We have found some things out. Thistle Hold, as you're probably familiar with, isn't the oldest town out there. And it seems that at the inception of Thistle Hold, there may have been something done previously that related to the well that inevitably became the sinkhole, something planned, perhaps? Something tied to a greater, darker evil waking up. And perhaps history is repeating itself.
That could be. There's much we do not know about the powers of Davokar. It's not out of the question for something to have been slumbering below the hold the entire time.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it had something to do with the prophecy of Sarkomel.
It's possible. But to my knowledge, that prophecy, I would imagine, is tied more so to Symbaroum than all the way out here, but anything's possible.
The prophecy may be related to Symbaroum, but I think that there are greater players, things sleeping. What do you know of the prophecy of Sarkomel? How much has been deciphered?
To my knowledge, nothing on that tablet has ever been read.
Can I make some type of roll to see how much I trust Gadramon with more information? Because I know that Gadramon is just trying to help as well, but just in case.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a cunning check if you would.
Okay. Oh wow, I probably trust him a lot. Okay. 13 out of 10.
13 out of 10? Okay. I mean, Gadramon seems to be straightforward with you. You know that he is a witch from Karvosti, which is kind of the area where they try to keep the peace amongst the barbarian tribes, and they are also more knowledgeable about Davokar itself. Laerke probably would have seen Gadramon at some point in your life, not necessarily knowing him super well, but you've never heard anything ill about Gadramon.
I imagine that it's uncommon, but I would also say that Gadramon probably recognizes the robe from our religious practices, and no one in their right mind pisses off anything from our church.
Mm-hmm.
So he wouldn't be, he wouldn't be lying to us. Also, to some degree, Tsum Tsum himself, because our people worship the moose and the elk. None of us are really comfortable being very, deceiving around so many symbols of, our religion.
Gadramon, what if there was a situation in which some of the prophecy has been read?
Do you know somebody who's read it?
What if there's a chance that someone has read some of it? What would the implications of that be? And by reading, I mean, what if somebody heard the translated words from touching it?
Well, I suppose then that falls to that individual, what they do with that knowledge. I mean, did you witness this happen?
I'm gonna kind of just give a side-eye look to Laerke to see what Laerke thinks I should say.
Laerke will look at Gadramon and just ask, has anyone ever claimed to be a prophet?
Not a prophet of Symbaroum. I've heard of prophets of Prios, the Sun Church, but from Davokar itself, not to my knowledge.
Would someone who has been able to translate the tablet be considered a prophet to some degree, in your experience working with the church and how things function in Karvosti?
Well, if an individual like that existed, I know that there are those above me who would very much like to have a conversation with that person.
Laerke is just kind of like,
yes. Well, I think the concern is that so many people are trying to get their hands on it to read it, and it would be good to know if anyone could, whether or not that would be the beginning symptoms of end time, so to speak. I think that's more our concern.
And how we could actually prove that isn't, if they're the only people that can understand the tablet, we need to figure out how to make sure that they're being truthful. So there needs to be at least 2 people that can read the tablet or understand the tablet and, need to agree on what it says.
And I think we're getting pretty good confirmation that that won't be possible, which bodes, as you can imagine, very, very frightening, given what somebody could say. There are so many power grabs out there.
Indeed. But for the time being, it's my opinion that we focus on the here and now and the dangers we know are present, which is that of the corruption of the hold. Now, aside from this tablet, you're sure that's all you've discovered?
That's all we've discovered with the tablet. Like I said, we have reason to believe the sinkhole might be tied to something that was there at the creation of the town, but unfortunately, every new discovery just unlocks a new mystery, doesn't it, friends?
Nrobso comes walking back from the warhorse. Oh, you guys talking about the tablet?
Nrobso,
Huh?
hey Nrobso, I forgot to ask you a question. Can you please accompany me to find a text that I would like to show our friend?
A text?
Yes, text.
Wasn't there like a place on the map, Keen, that was like we were trying to find this place where this person like cried or wept or something?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to go look for. I just need Nrobso to help find it because Nrobso is small enough to get into some of the like very sort of tricky parts of the caravan.
Oh.
Come. And like I'm like, now kind of semi-dragging Nrobso.
What about the tablet?
And then we get to the caravan. All right, Nrobso, listen up, okay?
Yeah. What do you need me to find? Like, is it really back there? Like, you guys are always putting stuff way in the back.
Listen, Nrobso.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Whatever's back there better be very important. What is it, Leggies?
Okay, so under no circumstances, ever, unless we're going to come up with another code word.
Okay.
Unless, for some reason, I say that code word, you are never to tell a single person, confirm in any way, that we know what the tablet says. Okay?
Well, you said the same thing about the medallion, the necklace that belonged to the lady who was actually seeing the guy.
Yes. Nrobso, we never, ever, ever, ever tell anyone that we know what the tablet says. Okay?
If you say so.
Yes, okay? Thank you.
Hold on. What?
What?
The first keyword phrase was murder. What is the second?
We are never
or was it lilies? Daffodils? Dandelions?
It was lilies. We're supposed to say lilies for murder.
Oh, yeah. Lilies.
Yes, lilies is for murder, okay?
Yeah.
So the code word for potentially ever speaking about the tablet.
Okay, yeah.
What is a word that you don't ever use?
Oh, Shanghai.
Very, very well. I've never heard of that word. That must be a very specific word. But yes, Shanghai. We will use the word Shanghai.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep. We never use it.
But as far as we're concerned, that tablet is unreadable.
No, but you read it.
Okay. Only when it's just me, you, Laerke, our group. But here's the thing.
Okay. Yeah.
There are a lot of people that want to know what that tablet says. Okay? A lot of people. Okay. Yeah. And unfortunately, I'm now realizing that apparently no one has ever been able to read what that tablet says. That's very unfortunate news for me.
That's what makes you special.
No. As far as anybody we meet, I'm not special.
Wait.
I'm just your regular old Joe, okay?
No, wait. This is advantage.
No, it's not. No. Nrobso. Bad things will happen. Very bad things. We will be hunted, especially me, by people if they think I know any words on that tablet. And I can't actually read that. I just heard those. Okay, so from now on, do we understand? My beautiful agent of chaos.
Shanghai.
And we will not talk about it at all. The tablet, no. No talking about it. Yes. We will not use that word unless for some reason we're in such a safe place where I say it. I'm not even going to say it now. I'm not even going to humor the word now.
fine. Now, was there anything in the cart that you actually needed?
Sure. Well, I'll just take, and I'd like grab, like I just like reach by you really easily and just pull like the little thing where like the original where tears fall in vain like thing was.
Oh, you didn't need my help at all.
Nrobso, yes, I did. I did need your help. We came up with a beautiful code word together. It's perfect. An invention of your own mind.
Then what shall be our next plan of action?
When we are without any other prying ears or eyes, I think that we can talk more specifically about that. But for now, we're just going to talk to Gadramon about totally normal things, not divulge too much. Okay?
Right. Yep.
In fact, how about you just don't divulge at all to Gadramon? Just let me and Laerke divulge to Gadramon. Do you think that's fair?
Fair seems to be a misused word in this situation, but I shall abide.
Excellent. And don't tell him I said that. Don't say, I can't divulge to you. Just say things like, oh, I was out doing very important entrepreneurial business when this was occurring.
If you insist.
Thank you so much, my dear friend. And I'm going to give you a piece of bread.
Just name a supply of bread. Where does she keep so much pan?
Laerke has just been kind of like fussing over Gadramon a little bit because she's really appalled at how people treat elderly people in like the Ambrian kingdom. Because like in the barbarian culture, if you live to be like old like that, then like it's a big deal.
Oh yeah, it's
for
massive.
us.
Y'all are not built to last, unfortunately.
So she's like fussing over him a little bit, like, oh, you know, were they like horrible to you? I'm so sorry. Like,
Oh,
here, you know, just brushing him off and stuff.
It's quite all right. Like I said, luckily the mayor of this town seems to be a bit more understanding. I don't think that these clowns were under his
appear
watch,
to be
but
official in any sort of degree, so I'm sure they won't be missed.
now your friends are very interesting, Laerke, but honest and truly, is this everything you found, or is there more?
Did they tell them about the map? Did we tell them about the map? Not yet.
Just the tablet.
I'm gonna. Oh, you know, I don't remember the exact of it, but I'm gonna ask if he's ever heard of. Have you ever heard of like a sacred place of like tears, or where someone may go to pray, cry?
I've heard of a place called the Halls of 1,000 Tears. Very much sacred to the elves. I myself have never been. I don't even know where it would be located at. It's very much kept under lock and key.
What do you suppose might be in such a place? And if I were to tell you that I may know where this place is, how valuable of that information would you suppose that would be?
Well, I mean, it seems that. Well, how did you come to hear about crying at a sacred place?
I'm not entirely sure of the specifics, but I believe it was a message that was found on the body that we found in the pit. I don't know any of the specifics. It's all secondhand information, I'm afraid.
And the body in the pit.
There was a woman down there, but I wasn't around for the autopsy or anything. I had to assist the some missionaries that had been captured.
Was she Ambrian?
I believe so.
It's but a message found on her body about potentially the halls.
That's
I mean-
I'm not sure specifically. It was a riddle of sorts, so it's just our best guess, or
Well,
mine.
The elves would be the ones to talk to about, well, really any information about Davokar in the ongoings.
Mm.
So, if you have a way to get to this place, it could lead to answers. But just know the elves are very particular about who they let in. I would suggest seeking out Muriel, if you're curious.
Oh, the elf that you say is in Thistle Hold.
Yes. He never divulged specifics, but I do believe he's been there.
Okay.
He may be willing to help if that is someplace you wish to go. Knowing him, though, he'll want to know every detail.
Okay.
And I would say at this point, Keen and Nrobso exiting out of the cart if you want to.
Well, I found what we were looking for. So we found a note that was on a body in the pit. And this was the message it said. It said that she needed to go where no tears fell in vain, that she was needed.
Well, that sounds like the halls to me.
I suppose this is what I meant when I said that any answer we found has only led to more questions.
Well, it seems your friend Laerke says you may have found a way to this place.
Maybe. Potentially. We have a lot of leads, but obviously no one has exactly pointed us in a concrete direction.
Well, again, I can tell you where Muriel is at within the hold, and perhaps he'd be willing to work with you, but again, he'll want details on everything. Or you can continue to ask about and chase down whatever leads you may come up with, but to me it seems that these halls played a significant role in this woman's body who you found. It seems like it was an important place to her. And again, the elves would be the ones to know the most about Davokar.
Yes, I think it would be best if we found this elf to be our guide to this place.
And also, if we may, Gadramon, since the mail was a little bit caught up on your end, is there a way we can have stones potentially to speak with each other? Maybe we should get those before we part ways.
And he just kind of nods for a moment, and he walks off the pathway and he picks up two very, very smooth looking rocks that fit about the size of your palm. And you hear him whispering some incantations under his breath in his native tongue, And you see the stone slowly start to levitate in his hand and give off just this faint glow. And he walks over and offers one to you, Keen.
Thank you very much. It will be very useful, I believe. And feel free to ask questions along the way. I would hate for you to get caught up with any more of those, whoever they were that want to tame corruption. I'm sure even, I can't even imagine who would think that was a good idea, but...
It's another one of the world's mysteries, I suppose.
Yes, ironic to be a witch hunter who wants to tame the very thing that witches channel through their bodies.
If there's nothing else, you can find Mirel in the eastern part of the hold. He lives near the gate. As you can imagine, being an elven man, he would not want to live near many Ambrians. Tends to keep to himself.
I see. What does Mira look like?
Clean shaven, shoulder length hair. I believe it's a mix of deep brown and red. Probably about 5.5 feet tall, I would say. His ears will be his most distinct feature, for obvious reasons.
So he doesn't hide them.
When he's out, I believe he covers them, but I have seen him near his home, where they poke through his hair from time to time.
I see. Very well. Feel free to communicate with us through the stones. Is there anything in particular you're worried about that we should be on the lookout for?
I mean, not much comes to mind. It seems like you're at as much of a loss as I am. Things, but I think that until you make your way to these halls and see if there's any answers there, there's not really much I can help with at this point. Aside from keeping an eye on things here in town, I will make sure to speak with the mayor about having a night watch escort around me at all times so this bullshit doesn't happen again.
Good call, good call. All right, I suppose this is where we part ways, Gadramon. I'll hold my hand out for a shake.
He'll take yours and shake your hand. It is good to see one from home looking into these matters. That puts my mind at ease a bit. And he says that to you in the barbaric tongue.
I guess we just push on. Are we headed to Thistle Hold to find the elf guy, or are we just going to use the map to get where we need to go? Because technically we have the map, but it might be useful to have an elf with us. I either way works for me.
I think we can discuss that probably back at the cart as he's going away. I completely understand both courses of action. I suppose I am amenable for either. He did say that the elf would want to know very specific details about what we want. But the elf also seems primed and ready in Thistle Hold to handle some kind of issue. I can't imagine why else he would be there.
And this woman that we found the information on, this who you got the key from, everything. She was the one that asked us for help initially,
Yes,
right? So there's no reason for them or this guy, this elf, to not trust us if everything is from her is leading back to him, and she was trying to get our assistance, right? So maybe this is a way to get in well with him and convince him to help us.
Right. Yes. And the note to her was written by a Tiana. I don't know if she was working with Mirel as well. Oh my gosh, I heard something. Was that in the wind? What was that?
No, continue. You're good.
Never mind, I'm going crazy. Yes, I don't know if Mirel was actually connected to Anadia, but I guess I also don't know the nature of Mirel's business.
I will say, in the notes in the journals that you had found at Anadia's storage, Mirel was mentioned in her scrawlings as being one who had visited the halls, as well as the mayor has also been to the halls.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I do think that she knew a Mirel.
She knew of a Mirel.
Yes.
That had visited the hall before.
Yes. So he has been there, so we could get in potentially, or learn how to get in, but what do you think, Nrobso?
Oh, that just seems as if we will now be going backwards to Thistle Hold and away from our task of the capital and the Davokar forest. I think the main issue is proceeding in which a way that continues the journey and not return back to Thistle Hold.
So we just head straight for the hall then. We have the map, we know where we're going.
You have the map, but the map does not specifically show you where in Davokar this is located, so you will be wandering through Davokar until you happen to stumble upon this place, if you try that way.
So do we complete one task of the thing of which is not to be spoken, or do we return for more information to help us find the stuff in Davokar? Epitaph of Destruction. Let us not forget the Epitaph of Destruction.
Yes. Well, we definitely need to go to where tears don't fall in vain. I wouldn't mind. Now, of course, I will take the input of the party into great consideration. But I wouldn't mind at least attempting to speak with Mirel. He is only at the gate. He's not far into Thistle Hold.
Well, we exited the south gate. Mirel is at the east gate.
Yes, but perhaps, you two could take the horse. It's only a little while back, and the rest of us can stay here at the caravan.
You don't want to come?
I don't think I would fit on the horse.
Well, I don't want you here in the forest by yourselves for a journey that may take several days.
Well, we haven't been traveling that long, have we?
Oh, just more in the sense of once we are told the information, down the rabbit hole we go.
That's true. However, we do have our elderly kin here at the caravan that don't necessarily move as quickly as the rest of us. How far out how long have we been did we travel before we caught up with the brothers from Thistle Hold?
You're only like a half hour outside of town.
Yeah,
it wasn't
we're
far.
like right there. Like you guys go get that elf real fast and then come back.
And I am for this decision. though I feel the real fast shall not be as fast as one is considering. Shall we, leggies? Ride upon... Well, just so you know, Red Herring he's very feisty when it comes to strangers. Him and I have a really good relationship, but I don't know how he will handle... Just so you know.
I see. Well, very well. Should I try and introduce myself to Red Herring, or can I just climb on?
The best decision is probably just climbing on. He does not do well with introductions.
Okay.
Not to worry, I will be there to defend you should things get a little dangerous.
Very well. It is good to be with... And then she pauses, thinking about the fact that she was about to give a compliment. Would you like some bread?
I've had my share. Let us go.
Excellent.
All right, with the assistance of Nrobso, you're able to climb onto the back of Red Herring. The two of you booking it back towards Thistle Hold, towards the eastern side to try to track down this elven man. Laerke, Agithe, Kovaan, and Gadramon hanging out at the caravan. Are you going to be hanging out here? Are you going back to Thistle Hold, or are you going to just kind of set up like a little makeshift camp where you're currently at?
I think I'm just going to. I feel like an orderly of some kind. I'm like babysitting the like 3 elderly folks at the caravan. I think I'm just gonna like help Aggie maybe set up the window to like sell on the side of the road and just make camp there on the side of the road and act as a guard.
Okay, perfect. Easy enough.
We're not too far. I can see Thistle Hold from here, right? Like I can see the giant walls. And
you can see the massive palisade. Yeah, it's very difficult to miss.
I'm sure there's still like guards that float around out here in the fields and stuff like that. So I'm not too concerned with it.
All right, excellent. And when we come back in the new year, we will go ahead and pick this up. So thank you all so much for sticking with us. Really through the entirety of this year. I think this is the last stream of the year on the channel. So to all of our wonderful viewers, to all of our wonderful community members, thank you so much for a fantastic 2022. To my players, thank you for coming with me on this journey. I'm very much excited to see where our next chapter takes us. Before we go, let's go ahead and go back around the table one more time. Introduce yourselves, shout yourselves out. Let's start off with Lee Royal this time.
Hey yo, my name is Lee Royal on all social media at royalty.no. Recently, I've been picking up a lot of content in the Reels situation over on Instagram, so please give that a check out, and also equally follow me over on TikTok and Twitter.
Alrighty, let's throw over to Christine.
Hey everybody, I'm Christine, and I was playing Laerke today. You can find me here at the Initiative Order. You can find me at Slumberjane here on Twitch. You can also find me at Instagram at slumber.jane. And I believe I'm going to be streaming later tonight if you want to come hang out. But otherwise, thanks for hanging out with the guys. And Happy New Year's and Happy Holidays.
Excellent. And over to Kelsey.
Hey guys, I'm Kelsey. If you're looking for me on social media, you can find me at Tombs and Tomes. I have an Instagram, a Twitter, and I actually did just get a TikTok, but there's nothing on it, so keeping it exciting. And also, you can see me in the Vossen stream that is also on the Initiative Order.
Excellent. Thank you so much. As for myself, I'm Nate Ridenauer, your game master for this journey. You can find me on all the socials, Twitter, Instagram, Hive, now that it's back and semi-alive, at least on iOS, Nride93. And mainly streaming here with my friends on the Initiative Order. We do have a Discord, which I'll drop down in the chat. Please jump in, come hang out with us, come join us. We run free-to-play community games every month. We have a bunch of open calls for our stream, so if you're interested in trying to get into streaming, please apply. We would love to play with you. We've got an open call for Monster Hearts right now, and we're going to have a Fallout one coming here very soon, as well as lots of new shows after the new year. So join our Discord, keep an eye on all that fun stuff. And if you want to catch up on all of our past streams, we've also got a YouTube. So if you want to check out Symbaroum or Vossen or Cyberpunk or Call of Cthulhu or any of our other past shows, check that out. They're a ton of fun. We appreciate all the support as always. And before we go, just some quick shout outs to our wonderful sponsors of the channel, starting off with Session Zero Clothing. They create some really cool TTRPG inspired streetwear. If you use code ORDER at checkout, you can get 15% off your purchase through them. And next up, a slew of dice sponsors, starting off with Norse Foundry, creators of some really cool like gemstone dice, metal dice, all kinds of cool stuff. If you use code TIO15 at checkout, you can get 15% off your purchase. And we also have our friends over at Mithril Armory, the creators of the Tin Puzzle D20. If you use code Initiative, you get 10% off your purchase through them. And last but certainly not least, our very own Terran, aka Umbral Oculus Dice. If you use code, I believe it's Initiative, let me double check. Yes, Initiative. You can get 10% off a full set of handmade dice through her store, so check them out. It's super cool. Amazing dice. They are cursed for Game Masters, though. Just a heads up, if you're a GM, still buy them because they're beautiful, but they will be cursed for you. I think that's everything I've got for now. Again, everybody, thank you so much for a fantastic 2022. For those who celebrate the holidays, I hope they are absolutely fantastic and filled with so much joy for you. If you don't, please join us in our Discord, hang out with us. We're always free. We're always down to chat and just have a good time. Please do not feel like you're alone during this time. We are all here for you. This community is here to support one another and love each other and just have a great time together. Until next time, everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you all next year. Bye, everyone.